What's up, Internet fam? So there's been a couple of things I've been wanting to do for a while now, to show you guys some examples of some of the ways that I manage my portfolio online when it comes to cryptocurrency and some other stuff too, although I'm not going to be presenting most of that in today's presentation. So, and just a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, despite what I might say throughout the rest of this interview here. So, yeah. Alright, I'm in my OBS desktop recording software, and let's take a look first. Let's take a look at BitConnect's interest rates this week. So, awesome interest rate this week, 1.41%. It's going to be applied tomorrow. Actually, it'll be applied on 8/02. Tomorrow's will be 0.64, so that's pretty low, actually, a little bit low, not too bad, but look at the rest of these interest rates: 1.1, 1.3, 1.5, I mean 0.27. So as you can see, it kind of averages out to about 1.0 or 0.07 and plus 0.1, right? So let's say if you were to invest $100 and you were going to do that over the next 60 days, you would make $64 back in 60 days just from putting $100 in there. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've talked about BitConnect before. It's a little bit boring, honestly, when it comes to investing. But you know, it's not investing when you start looking at some of the charts, which I'll show you in a minute. So let's talk about Genesis Cloud mining right now. I believe they are mostly caught up right now. I'm not sure if they're completely caught up or not. But look, as you can see, the graph is just super wild. Like, they didn't pay out for a bunch of days, and all of a sudden they paid out all at once. So it's been a really kind of wild, bumpy ride here on Genesis mining. I'm not sure what happened there, but I believe that they're like mostly caught up. They might just be a day behind now, or maybe 2 days behind, but it looks like they're mostly caught up in the payouts. But they're not caught up in the Dash payouts, so not sure what's up with that. And looks like they are also not caught up with the Ether payouts, or maybe I just don't get very many Ether payouts, not sure. But they are, looks like, mostly caught up with the Monero payouts as well. So very strange. I mean, just if you look at the data that they present you, it's just very strange. You know, I mean, there's this big payout here. It's obviously like 3 or 4 days combined, and there's all these little payouts, and yeah, I don't know. So, and here's my addresses right here. So you can go ahead and send me some Litecoin, some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, whatever you want. Go ahead and send it to my wallet if you want. I'd be happy to accept it. Yeah, so let's see what else is going on here. Bitcoin is at 28.46 right now. So, like I said in today's earlier vlog, man, Bitcoin is just really doing well, really strong right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graph. This isn't real data here. I've actually doctored this data to be somewhat of a representation of my holdings, but not really. So as you can see, if these were my holdings, none of these are real. These are just made up. But this is similar to. I tried to follow the volume of about what I had on my personal chart for the second half of July. I had a different spreadsheet I was using better, but this is version 2.0 and it's a little bit cleaner. But this is just an example, as you can see up here. This is not the real one, right? Just an example. So don't get too excited about my $1,600. I might either be going way over or way under my actual holdings. So, but as you can see, even though it's been really rocky, it went way up and then way down. Now it looks like it's kind of leveled off, and I'm still, you know, up. What is that? 10% or more. Maybe a little bit less, almost 10%, 8% since the halfway mark of the month. So, I mean, and that's kind of how this cryptocurrency game goes. I mean, even if you're really smoothly, make some really good trades. Some of the trades I made were really, really good. You know, I'm not quite as on it as I could be if I could log into Cryptopia anytime, day or night, or any of the exchanges, anytime, day or night, as I'm watching real time. I could probably cash out on the peaks a little bit more, and which would also free me up to buy the dips a little bit more. So then this chart would probably show a lot more aggressive growth. But this isn't too bad. I mean, honestly, look at it. It's, you know, it's pretty solid. This is slow and steady growth, which is kind of what you want to see when you're doing this sort of thing. So as you can see, the BitConnect's going up and up as I keep adding the interest every day and reinvesting that. Clearly I have gotten out of Coinbase a little bit. Coinbase is in yellow here, and you can see that I've definitely gotten out of Coinbase a little bit as you know, as we get closer to the August 1st deadline, because they won't be supporting Bitcoin Cash. Not that I care much about Bitcoin Cash, but I mean, free money's free money, so you know, I definitely wanted to move that onto an exchange or into a personal wallet where I was going to be able to get both from when that occurs. So as you can see, I clearly moved a lot of it over into Exodus, my Exodus wallet, which I tried to make an example Exodus wallet, but I couldn't. For some reason, it pulls the real data even when I do a fresh install to a new folder. So yeah, so I couldn't show you an example Exodus wallet, but I am going to set that up here at some point, maybe on a virtual machine or something. Cryptopia is where I do a lot of altcoin trading, so you can tell it's taken the most beating of all my holdings for the last half of the month, because the altcoins have all done really poorly ahead of this Bitcoin thing. But I expect this to go up quite a bit in August once the Segwit thing washes out and things start going along. Coinagi, this is kind of a weird one because this isn't a real representation of my holdings at all. I put a lot of Coinagi over into Exodus here. That's where Exodus came from initially here, until I moved a bunch of my Coinbase over to Exodus. I've been moving Coinbase off of Coinbase ahead of the August 1st thing. And the only reason why there's anything in Coinbase really is because A, there's a little bit of LTC and Ethereum in there, and B, I have some of my automatic payments online going into my Coinbase account. So unfortunately a couple things popped in there right before I you know, it's too close to the date, so I can't transfer them out of Coinbase. And I actually hit my peak withdrawals from Coinbase as well, somewhere in here, and that slowed me down a little bit too. But as you can see, I caught up, but then more stuff came in. So yeah, so I didn't get to get all of my stuff out of Coinbase before the big move, but I did get some of it, so that's cool. Let's see what else. And as you can see, this is the total in the back here. And again, you know, up about $100 over the last half of the month, which isn't too bad if you're looking at about $1,600 worth of holdings, or $1,500 worth of holdings if you look at the front of the month, right? And this is a pretty good example of like how the market's been. It's been up and down, but it's been, you know, slowly, inexorably going up, mostly because of Bitcoin. I mean, look at that Bitcoin price, 28.44. That's really close to the peak that Bitcoin's ever been. So clearly it's doing well. So anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update. Maybe show you some of the Genesis mining stuff and how weird that payout schedule has been since that came up. So you can check that out. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, or if you're interested or want to know more about any of these tools I'm using, or how I set up my spreadsheet or anything like that, feel free to ask. It's pretty basic, really. It's just a quick tabulation, and then I made a cool little graph. I'm using Linux, obviously, right, with LibreOffice, and you know, it's all, everything, almost all the tools I use are free, almost all of them. I don't spend money on software. I did spend a little bit of money to buy this little ghetto laptop at a pawn shop here in town, and I got a special deal on it because it's has a broken keyboard, but I'm basically using it as a desktop, so I don't care that much. Yeah, so that's kind of what it looks like when you're playing this sort of game right here. And yeah, you know, being up $100 on a $1,500 investment it really isn't that bad. You can imagine that if you were able to sustain that, within a year, you'd probably have a closer to a $3,000 investment. And keep in mind too, I've been able to grow this portfolio while the market's taken some huge hits, especially the altcoins. And I did diversify and get into a bunch of altcoins a couple of months ago, and I was able to play the field and actually make quite a few good trades and returns, and get that up to $1,500. Maybe that's a little bit higher than what I actually have, or maybe it's lower than what I have. You guys don't know. You don't know. You'd have no way of knowing, and I wouldn't tell you. But I mean, you can imagine that a year from now, if you're able to make about $100 a month doing this, you'd have $3,000. And with that $3,000, you might be able to invest more, and you might be able to make $200 a month. And then, a year from then, maybe you'd have $6,000. And maybe you could turn that $6,000 into, a year from then, $12,000. And at that point, you'd be making about, $500-600 a month, possibly, if you know what you're doing, and you get lucky on some info. And maybe you'd be able to quit working and live off of trading cryptocurrencies. I think it is possible. I think it's much more likely and possible than making money on the stock market. Stock market is just abysmal. I could show you my stock market chart. It's just not good. I've got a few stocks that have done well for me. I've made money on the stock market with Tesla stock, as I mentioned in some previous vlogs. But overall, I mean, playing the stock market is just really, really hard. It's very slow. It's difficult to get in and out in any kind of timely fashion. So it's very difficult to buy the dips and sell on the peaks. And there's a lot of very educated traders who do this for a living on the stock market. I think more than there are people doing it with cryptocurrencies. And you have to do it 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. So that's a big limitation, especially when you're talking about timeliness and stuff. When it comes to doing any kind of this day trading stuff, you really need to be available when there's an opportunity. And when there's an opportunity, it could be any time. You have to keep an eye on the market, and if you really get serious about it, you end up working all the time, 24/7. Whether you're at work or, at a concert or at a movie or whatever, you're kind of keeping your eye on the market in the background. And if there's an opportunity, you're jumping in to either buy or sell on the opportunity. And that's really the only way to do it, I think. There are, on some of the exchanges, you can put buy and sell orders at certain limits and just kind of plan for opportunities. But, those opportunities may or may not ever arise. But you can take low buy opportunities and then have the exchange set up to automatically sell half of your holdings when you've doubled your initial investment amount. And then when it drops back down again, which, most of them do go up and down and up and down. So it's pretty rare when they go up and then just stay up. Although that happens. So that's why I recommend only selling half of your holdings during a peak. Because then you're still holding half, and you're not going to miss continued gains in the case that particular cryptocurrency tends to continue to grow, which has happened. I've seen that happen, where it just goes up and then just stays up and it never goes back down to those previous lows. But in general, usually they do go up and down, and you can, if you sell after you've made twice your initial investment on it, or 30% your initial investment, whatever you decide is a reasonable amount, sell half your holdings and then wait for it to get back down. Generally they're not going to get down to as low as you initially bought them, because the way the market's going, it's just slowly going up. I should do it the other way, huh? It's slowly going. Oh man, I'm going the wrong way. Can't do the mirror effect. I'm backwards. I'm not mirrored. The market's generally going slowly up for all of these coins, which is why also long-term hodl is a good strategy as well. Certain of these cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin and some of the more legitimate ones that have been around for a while, if you hodl those for a length of time, generally you're going to make some kind of profit eventually. So, if it's a bona fide currency. Today there was a couple of peaks of things that I'm holding that I could have divested myself of, and then half of, and then bought back in and made some money on, but I couldn't because I was doing work for other clients and teaching violin and stuff. And that's a form of diversification. I don't just hang my hat on day trading and trying to make money on day trading, which is good because then I would have only made $100 this month. but I am trying to diversify and also make money, playing music and doing IT for a lot of clients and stuff like that. I'm doing a little bit of all of those almost every day, and that does cause me to miss out on the market sometimes. But when I'm not doing those two things, I can still, if I see an opportunity on my phone, or I get a notification from one of the exchanges I'm on, I can get in there and get some work done. And sometimes you can do that, in a gas station in Bakersfield. That's kind of a sad story because I saw an opportunity that was huge, and by the time I got to a gas station and got my laptop hooked up with, tethered to my cell phone and got a good enough data connection to do what I needed to do, I'd kind of missed it. I still caught it, sort of, but I didn't catch the full opportunity that I was really trying to catch. So, yeah, so anyway, that's a little bit of the background of like the tools that I'm using to actually track my portfolio growth. Hey, I kind of did it right that time, just by accident. It's not too hard. You just enter the data. There's a guesstimate column right here because this is the day I didn't get around to entering the data in real life. So I just kind of split the difference between the 2 days in between it. It's a little bit lower than this day, a little bit higher than this day. But that's okay. I mean, I'm still keeping fairly accurate tabs on it. I really wish there was better tools for people like me. Although if there were better tools, maybe there'd be more people doing it, and maybe it would be harder to play the market as have semi-successfully here so far. So, but if you're a developer or if you're interested in helping out with that project, I got some ideas for some tools for crypto day traders, or just for regular, civilians who want to just get their toes wet, even, So I'd really like to show the Exodus wallet, because I think the Exodus wallet is an excellent UI, an excellent interface. It's a really good platform for trading the major 10 or 12 cryptocurrencies. I tend to trade those ones a little bit more, solely because they're in the Exodus wallet. And the Exodus wallet just is a really pleasant tool to use to get into this field. The exchanges, man, it's all the different exchanges have problems. Bittrex makes really nice charts, but they don't support a lot of the cryptocurrencies that I'm interested in trading. Some of the smaller players that you can make more money on. Bittrex doesn't have those listed, so that makes Bittrex useless if you want to start trading those currencies. Poloniex has a bunch of problems. It's often slow. I don't really care for the interface. There's a bunch of things wrong with Poloniex. Kraken, again, man, the interface is just, Kraken actually really works really well, but the interface looks like it's something off of somebody's dial-up modem from 1982 or something. It's brutal. If you're not an IT person, you're going to get in there and be like, what the hell does any of this mean? How am I supposed to navigate any of this? And the truth is, there's a learning curve there. So good luck with Kraken, although it is a tool that works very well if you learn how to use it. Cryptopia. I love Cryptopia for the fact that there's a lot of cryptocurrencies that you can trade on there that you can't really get on the other main exchanges. I love the little chat room where you can just go and give people Doge or randomly receive, random currency you've never heard of from strangers. I think that's really fun. I wish it worked a little bit better. I wish they would split it into like 100 different chat rooms of 20 or 30 people each or something, because sometimes there's 1,000 people in there and it gets really spammy and you can't really keep up, and everybody's in a different language. It would be cool if Cryptopia would split up the chat rooms by language, and also in the Cryptopia website, it's slow to load. There's often maintenance going on. Their charts are terrible. The Cryptopia charts are always behind. They work well and they look good, but just actually using them for real trades is like, you can't do it. You got to do something else. Coinigy, I use Coinigy currently. I think my free trial expires in like a week or something, and I don't think I'm going to pay for it. Coinigy just doesn't. If Coinigy acted a little bit more like Exodus Wallet, but kept its really nice charts and maybe cleaned it up a little bit, I think it's a little too busy and it's kind of hard for me to stay focused when I'm in Coinigy. It's a powerful tool and it's cool, but and I like the charts even better than the Bittrex charts, or the CoinMarketCap.com charts, or CryptoWatt.ch. There's a bunch of different sites that I use for charting, and I don't like any of them. That's the reality. Coinigy is probably the best for the charts, and I don't even think it's good enough to pay the, I don't know what the $5 a month subscription or whatever. So yeah, I'd be very interested in hearing about some other charting tools that I haven't used, especially if there's something open source that runs on Linux that does real-time charting that maybe you could connect to the different exchanges. And if there isn't something like that and you'd like to help develop that, I would like to help you make that interface great. I would like to be involved. I would like to invest my time and my energy and maybe even my money into that and pay some developers. So, and maybe we can do like what Cryptopia does. They've got their own cryptocurrency called DOT, and they make money by, if people want to be listed on their exchange, they have to buy a certain amount of DOT to get listed on the exchange. We could do the same thing and have our own cryptocurrency, and get paid every time a different cryptocurrency wants to get listed on our exchange. Maybe our prices could be more modest than Cryptopia. Maybe we could have some other strategies as well. There's a lot of room for growth in this space. A lot of room to make money. There's a lot of business opportunities in this field right now, especially around, I think, inclusion in tools and inclusion in ways for, John Q. Public to get involved. That right now is just, I'm an IT nerd, and I can barely understand some of these tools I'm using. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes when I'm in Kraken, I'm like, what? I'm like trying to figure out the exchange rates and what's a good price and which part of the menu I'm looking at. It's like, you gotta be you gotta be focused, and you have to have had your coffee and a good night's sleep and know what's up, to even get in there and start playing around. And man, it's just like the Exodus wallet is really great. And Exodus, if you're listening, I know you keep asking for a UI designer. I think your UI is like pretty much done. I think there's a couple of features that you need, and I think you need to add like, I don't know, all 830 cryptocurrencies that are, out there on the main exchanges, and let people start really playing with it, the right way. Yeah, because the Exodus wallet is close to perfection. There's a few things that bother me about the Exodus wallet, but it is a powerful tool that I use the heck out of. So, and it is by far the best user interface out of any of these cryptocurrency tools. By far, it's far and away. It makes Coinigy look like Kraken, and Coinigy is a lot better than Kraken as far as the interface goes. Yeah, Kraken, what's up with you? You looking for a UI designer? Let me help you make a better website, because that is just confusing right now. I'm willing to help any of these companies for the right amount of Bitcoin. I'll help a lot of people out if they're going to pay me in Bitcoin. So, and I think these tools are important, for humanity. Like I said, this cryptocurrency, there's a lot of financial freedom and other things that can come from this market growing and more, your average John Q. Public people getting involved in it. It's going to be a really benefit for all of us on the planet. So I'm in on a moral and ethical level, and man, if I could get in on a financial level too, and invest in a company who's ready to do something like what I'm talking about, or be a part of a company who's ready to do something like I'm talking about. I've got years of IT experience, and I definitely could be a UI designer. I would basically just copy Exodus. Exodus, hire me, or I'm going to be your competitor. That's where this is going. Like they care. They're open source. I love you, Exodus. I'm kidding. Don't be mad. Don't stop. Don't stop what you're doing. You are the best out there right now. Yeah. So that's it. That's kind of a semi-detailed look at how I handle stuff. I'm not showing actual trades on any of these exchanges. I will have a virtual machine set up at some point where I can do some of that and show you guys exactly how to do trades on all of these exchanges. Put a tiny amount of Bitcoin in that virtual machine and all those, and give you like a more in-depth tutorial on exactly what to do. If you're interested in this sort of thing, which I think it's a fascinating area, and it's just so much cooler and more interesting than the stock market. It's like, if you've ever thought, hey, the stock market, how do you trade stocks? How do you day trade? How do you become an investor? Or if you've ever been interested in the stock market, just don't. Just stop. Get into cryptocurrencies. It's way more interesting. It's way easier. It's way more fun. There's a way more diverse field. There's little chance that your money is going to go to support Exxon or Lockheed Martin or any of these other corporations that, you should really feel bad about having money in. A lot of people buy some kind of mutual fund, and it's like a significant portion of their portfolios will be in some mutual fund that's directly funding, Dow Chemical or Monsanto, or some like super evil corporation. It's like, how do you feel good about that? When I play the stock market, I don't just do it to make money. I do it. I have to do it in a way that makes me feel good about myself. And so I do not invest in any pharmaceutical companies. I don't invest in any war companies, any military industrial complex based companies. I don't invest in any petroleum or fossil fuel companies. Or I try not to invest in any industries that commingle with either of those industries. There's a lot of those too. I try not to invest in any of the media companies. I am holding some Netflix stock, which I feel a little bit conflicted about. But Netflix puts out some good documentaries that I think are kind of helpful for humanity in a way. They put out a lot of junk too. All that superhero junk, that's just, I don't know, man. I know I got friends who like the superhero movies, like the superhero TV shows, but man, I just think that is poison for your mind. I just don't think it is good for you. Who cares? It's like, let's deal with like real people, real issues, I don't know, the fantasy thing. It's like, I got my guilty pleasures. I talked about Game of Thrones this morning on my vlog, and I got my guilty pleasures too, but it's like, couldn't we have better media by now? I'd like to invest in a media company that puts out like really worthwhile stuff, like really good documentaries, really good, even if they were like some kind of drama, soap opera, sitcom kind of thing, like something with like some kind of historical value, like maybe Vikings without all the mystical stuff and based more on like, what actually happened. I don't know. Yeah, so anyway, I hope you learned something here, or were interested, had some fun. If not, I'm sorry. Sorry for wasting your 10-15 minutes, whatever this is. And if you did, good for you. And I'll catch the rest of you, internet fam, on the flip side.